Hey guys, what's up? Applistic Dev here. Today I'm going to be giving you a tutorial, and I'm going to be teaching you kind of how to make a simple application. Now, when you put all this stuff together, it's not really going to be an application that you're going to use, but it's mostly going to be little snippets that you can use to make a better application, or most of this is just vital ingredients in making an application that you want. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to open up Xcode. You can call it whatever you want. After you've watched this tutorial, you might have an idea, so you can go ahead and name it that. I'm just going to name it test. I mean, it's pretty simple for me. We're just going to, first I'm going to show you the interface and show you like what kind of things we're going to be using. And then we're just going to add the simple lines of code. It's not really code. We're just implementing them so we can actually connect them to the referencing outlet. So the first thing we're going to do is just go into that interface, and we're just going to put in a couple of objects, I guess. I don't know. Let's get an image view. And I mean, instead of actually using an image view, you could just use an image if you just drag it in something from your media. It works the same way, but I'm using image view, so I don't actually have to use an image. So we use that. We'll use a label. We'll definitely use a button. I think that's pretty much all we need. I mean, those are pretty much the vital things. So yeah, let's just go ahead and stick with that. Actually, let's go ahead and drag in a toolbar. Yeah, I don't know. I don't need to title that at all. But so that's about it. This button is just going to be used as though it was a button, but it's actually kind of important to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. I just want to drag this over here because I might have to reference back to it because I might forget which actual things we use. So now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start making them and labeling them as their real object or whatever they're called. So you want to go right after this bracket. You want to click enter a couple times. And now we're going to start off with the UI image view, as you can see right here. And so what we're going to do is that is an IB outlet, UI image view. That's the difference between a regular image you paste in and an UI image view. And then a space, you're going to do an asterisk or a star, whatever you want to call it. And this is where you can name the image. So I'm just going to call it test image. Next, we're going to do another IB outlet. Now, most of the time, when you type in IB outlet, it's not really completely necessary. You don't really have to do that. So it's all good right there. This next one is a UI label. I know, Apple doesn't have the best names. This one's going to be a test label, I guess. I don't know. I'm going pretty simple with the names. Next one's an IB outlet. Actually, I'm going to prove to you. I'm not going to type in IB outlet this time. Actually, never mind. I'm going to, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm going to keep it in sync. So this one's going to be called IB outlet UI button. And this one's going to be asterisk test button 1. And I'm just going to go copy that one and do it again. And the reason I'm doing this a second time and naming it test button 2 is because I'm going to be showing you how you can relate a regular UI button, and this is called a selector, like the button right here. I'm going to show you how you can use them in the same way because it takes a little bit of different kind of things. Right after that, for the first two things we did, for the image and the label, we have to do some add properties to them. So we're going to do add property, non-atomic, comma, retain, and that. And then we're going to skip the IB outlet. We're going to just type in UI image view. And then we have to asterisk the same exact thing we called it above. So test image. I'm just going to copy that so I don't have to do it all over again. I'm going to paste it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to have to change this, but so this one's a UI label. We called it test label. The next one was a UI button, and we called that one test button 1. Now instead, I'm actually just going to copy this one, delete this one, paste it again because it's still a UI button. Call that one 2. Now the last thing you're going to need to know, for all buttons, if you really want to, technically we don't need it for what we're doing right now, but when you're going to actually make it lead to something else, like when you click the button if you want to switch it to a new view, you have to do some IBActions. And so this is the only part where it's actually going to carry on into like the .m view controller. So basically what we're going to have to do is IBAction. Now you don't have to do anything except the name and what you had done it before. This is test button 1. Sorry, and that. And IBAction test button 2. It's pretty simple, but when it does come to the actual buttons being clicked, you need IBActions. So that's just something to know. This one's test button 2 and that. Alright, we're all set there. We don't really have to do anything in the test view controller.m, But just so you know, whenever you're going to implement something, you have to make sure, right here, I'm just going to do it, it's not going to matter. You have to make sure you synthesize everything you've done it. So basically all the names that we listed in the .env controller, you have to do @synthesize right after @implementation right here. You have to do @synthesize, and you have to name them the exact way you've done it before. So if I was doing the test button 1, I would do that. And you separate them by commas, so this one would be test button 2. And you would keep on going. You have to end with, of course, the semicolon. I'm not going to do any of that because I'm not actually using anything in the .env controller. But that is a vital part when you're doing anything like that. Alright, now we can go back into our interface builder, because it's time to connect things to their outlets. So let's go ahead and start off with the Uiimageview. We're going to go over here to the new reference outlet, drag it to Files Owner, and it realizes already this is our image because it's a Uiimageview. Save that. This is our label, so we're going to drag that to Files Owner. This is our test label. Now the difference between this one, I'm going to call it button 1, and we're going to call this one button 2. Not that it matters at all, but this is just the way that you can actually tell the difference from it. We're going to go, instead of new referencing outlet, we're going to go to touch up inside, because what I've realized is this is the actual thing that makes it enabled to what the actual IBAction is. So now that we didn't put in an IBAction, this is where it actually comes out. So this is test button 1. We're also going to drag a new referencing outlet to it as well, and that's going to go to Files Owner, and that one is also test button 1. So whenever you're doing anything that's related to buttons and the button being clicked, you have to do both the touch-up inside and new referencing outlet. Now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for button 2. You have to click it twice to usually get onto that thing. And instead of dragging a new referencing outlet, we're going to drag the selector to Files Owner and then click on test button 2. Now I'm not exactly sure what would happen if we drag the new referencing outlet, but I guess it's worth trying. Yeah, nothing happens from that. So all you need for a selector button is to drag the selector. There's no touch-up inside, and the new referencing outlet is not needed at all. So now if we were to connect anything, they would all be doable, especially for the buttons, because now they are actually clickable with the IBActions. I'm just going to name this. This is the test label, I guess. I don't know. And what to do is, if you had dragged in an image into your Xcode originally, then it would show up under media, and you can actually drag the picture into Uiimageview. And that's how you would use an Uiimageview compared to and different from just a UI image. So that's pretty much it. You can go and save it. There's not much to show you. But if you went ahead and build and run, it would work out smoothly. Nothing would happen. But you would have your own iPhone app. I just showed you how to connect everything. Those are very important parts. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you liked it, subscribe, rate, comment, all that stuff. Hit me up with some feedback. Check out my website, www.applesdkdev.com. That's about it. Thanks, guys.